Welcome back, everybody. Today we're talking about cars sooner than we think for Rust Console Edition for the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, next generations, and everything in between. And I'm Jade Monkey. Now, I know this sounds a little crazy. Cars, right, like modular vehicles, as they're known in game. As we do know the next big content piece is going to be horses hitting most likely sometime in July, and it's going to be on testing or staging branch first, but I do think cars are on the menu now. Now, we kind of figured this ahead of time, but now with the most recent update, and now with the survey that was out there, I think it's really on the list. So let's go ahead and go over it, shall we? We shall. So recently we had a 11 survey that was out for, I want to say about 2 weeks or so. And it was interesting because there was a lot of things on there, but more specifically, I mean, these are just kind of representative of some of the other questions that we had. But those aren't pertinent. The one we are focusing on here, it says, if you could choose one major feature to be added to Rust Console Edition, what would that major feature be? Now, this list was bigger than what we're showing here, and I do think it's a little odd they put community servers on there because they've already announced it 2 years ago, and they did say it is this year, along with horses. Maybe not at the same time, but we do know it's going to happen this year. So it's kind of like saying, hey, I'll feed you. And then just before the meal starts, it's like, okay, choose one. You can only choose one. Do you want to be fed? You're like, what? What? You know, I don't know if that's an oversight or if that's a cruel joke or what. But I'm like, dude, that's already on the thing. And you know everyone's going to pick that, so it's like, how do you expect the survey to be any kind of accurate if there's only one choice and you put the thing on there that you said you're already going to do? Makes people think that you're not going to do it. Weird. Anyways, I digress. One of those things that was on there was modular vehicles. Also, cars, right? And more specifically, on this list, there was also minis, which says a number of different things. So hopefully this all makes sense. Whew, I know, right? Like, I get so excited about this. So, minis was off the table for a while because they said older generation systems would just melt when you're flying around. There's like a render range. So let me go ahead and pop out here. Hopefully this doesn't break what we're trying to do here. So you can see how you can see the structures, right? They're going to start to pop out of range. Obviously it's very far on my computer. I start to see them popping out now. So for older systems, when you fly, you're going so fast, it can't keep up with loading in a bunch of bases, right? So it causes stuttering, which is not a good experience when you're flying, clearly. So they said they prototyped it. See how it's all coming back? They prototyped it a while ago, and they said the old systems just melted. But the fact that it's on this list now says that there's enough performance on the table that this is now a possibility. How do we know this? Well, it was on the survey. So clearly, if it's on the menu, then there's something they're willing to, quote-unquote, cook up, right? I'm saying cook up. So anyways, if you want to know more about minis, excuse me, I've already done a video on that. We'll go ahead and link that video now in the upper right-hand corner if you want to go check that out. So we won't cover that here. But it's very interesting. So if minis are on the table, that means modular vehicles are definitely. Here's the reason why. Modular vehicles are on the ground, and they don't move as fast as helicopters. There's not as much visual range for them to render in. So I think these were even on the table beforehand. But now that we have the terrain update, I think that's a big deal. Another reason is because, well, we also know, since we have horses and stuff, that terrain updates smoothed out a lot of the terrain for us and also made the road system that much more robust. Let me show you here. We have like a ring road system here. If you look on the current version, the main version of Rust, you see that our road system and then dirt path system has been revamped. So that's not only for horses, but that's for vehicles. Yes, all things pointing to this, right? Now, I don't think this kind of stuff is going to be this year. I mean, that'd be great if they did. Don't get me wrong. I'd definitely take that. I think the community would love that. But I think these are probably on the table for next year at some point. Not sure when yet, but anyways. One of the other major things that modular vehicles needed was electricity. Well, as you know, at the front end of this year, what did we get? Electricity in the main branch. As a matter of fact, we had it on testing staging at the end of the year, last year. So, modular vehicles do have that dependency, electricity. It's one of the major things you need for the whole game loop of cars. It is the lift. The lift has to be powered to be used. It's how you swap out things on the modular vehicle. That's how you lock the vehicle. It's what you call a dependency, and this needs electricity for it to work correctly. You can see it right down here. So the fact that we have this in-game, it's running well, the terrain update is firing correctly, and now we have the option of minis and modular vehicles. I think modular vehicles are definitely going to be a possibility, and it's a big deal. Like, don't get me wrong, we'll take any mode of transportation, but modular vehicles are OP. Oh, there's a little horse. Hey, buddy, what's up? These things are OP. They come with all kinds of variations, and again, as the name entails, they're quite modular. And as you can see right here, anybody who's doing heavy duty farming, you can see we have a tanker variant here. It takes up 2 slots, and this will hold 200,000 milliliters. If you're doing big time farming, a lot of times you'll have one of these just sitting in your base just as a container. You won't even drive it. You might even put like a long chassis on there that just has 2 tankers. Like, that's definitely a possibility. And so we'll just go over some of these different modules here. You can see some of these different configurations. We have the armored piece here, so I think if I stand close and I get it to come down, there we go. You can see it is exactly what you think it is. It is an armored vehicle. People have to shoot through the slats and you can cover them up, but visibility is doo-doo for sure. But it's awesome. You can use this to go pick up your boys. This kind of configuration mixed with a jackhammer is going to be a thing. If we don't have minis, the next best thing is definitely modular vehicles. Like, imagine going out to hills, driving up there with this armored vehicle. You come out with some Timmies and just light it up and start farming the place up, right? And then you can see this white chunk in here. This is a camper section. This is quite OP. This is basically makes the whole thing a giant armored mobile base. And you're like, oh, why is that? Well, that's an actual barbecue. That's storage under the seat. And get this, there's locker slots at the top here. Is that silly? And when you're right here, you can make your bed, which it's at spawn point after that. And then if you hit your, what is it on? I can't remember what it is on console. It's like switch seats. You can just keep moving around the vehicle if you want to. So if you have the car locked, you drive into hostile territory, they have to damage the car so far before they can get inside of it. So you're in a giant tank. How sick is that? Then you can use the giant tank to respawn with your gear and pop out and help out your boys. Imagine this for raiding. Imagine this for all kinds of scrap runs, running launch site, popping out of this bad boy and doing Bradley. Like, the possibilities are endless. And that's just a few of the modules that are available. The other one's this open flatbed. You can literally just run around and drive like this and just be like pop, 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 pop. Then you can jump in the back if you want to. You have a taxi module if you want to go full PvE. And yes, I don't have a driver's module on here, but what you can do is the driver can basically just lock somebody in the back of your car, even if you have a lock on it, and you can kick people out if they're being douchers, right? So run an Uber service while you're on the on a server. How fantastic is that? It's so sick. You can even add extra locker storage. And then let me go ahead and show you how you add the locks here. This is quite nice. So once it's on the lift and the lift is powered, you go over here to vehicle. As long as you have a driver's module, you can add a lock. And it's a code lock. How sick is that? It used to be a key back in the day, but they've switched it to code locks. Disgustingly awesome. So now, now you have everything typed in, you're good to go. And check this out. So once we're inside, I think I have to get it to slump down here. If you look at the driver's side here, you see this little red button there? You can unlock the doors just like in a real car or lock them. And the windows will block bullets to a certain extent, but once they're broken, it will let the bullets pass through. Obviously, this is an open canopy, so anybody who walks up to the side can definitely, what's the word? Third world mug you in the vehicle, for sure. You've got lights on the side here. Dude, it's fantastic, right? So check it out. You've got all these different modules here. Let me just show you a few of these here. Got like the main engine module. You can make it like a souped up car. You've got the tanker. Camper we've covered. This is the cockpit with vehicle module. So it's basically the cockpit and like a very slow motor slot there in the front. Just the cockpit. Armored passenger module. Armored cockpit. What do they call this one? Flatbed vehicle module. Passenger vehicle module. Yeah, you can have a party bus. Rear seat module. Taxi. And large flatbed module. And then you have all these different car parts. There's low, medium, and high quality. I think this is medium, right? Oh no, these are high quality. Never mind. So if you go find an engine module here. Oh, here we go. It's in the back. You can see you can add these different quality parts inside of here, and it actually makes things. You can see the different stats here. You've got maximum power, acceleration, top speed, and fuel economy. So, but yeah, by the way, your load grade goes in the back here, if you didn't see that beforehand. Let me go ahead and put this on. This might help. There you go. That's better, right? It's a little dark out. And what's cool is you can go around with a hammer and start to repair things if you want to. And then swapping out the vehicle parts is as easy as running up on a lift. And you might be going, Jade, I don't have a base. I'm a solo. I'm a grub fantastic. I don't have time for this kind of stuff. Hey, no problem. Most likely what this update's going to bring in is the junkyard. And you're like, well, you know, what do you mean junkyard? Well, check this out, right? So the junkyard has some implications to it because not only can you grind things up, and it's got a crane in it, it also has its own lift built into it. So right there in the front end, it's already plugged in. you can take car parts and then, or a vehicle, push it on the ground if you want to, and push it right up to the lift, and then, you know, swap parts in and out, repair things if you want to, although you can do that in the field, and you're good to go. So this also can bring it, you see how this like unlocks so much more content for us, right? With the train update and now the electricity. So it will have a new monument to use, but we'll also have these different ways to configure the vehicle, even if you don't have a base. And there will be husks of vehicles that spawn on the map on the roadside, and so you can kind of walk up on those things and then repair them and then drive them off. So again, you can push these. They will cost a bit of food and water when you do push it, but you'll see people grief each other or do all kinds of crazy stuff by driving this up into the outposts, the safe zones and stuff. It's fantastic, dude. There's so much fun gameplay around this. I'm really looking forward to Modular Vehicles. I think these will come before minis. I really do, because I think this is more low-hanging fruit to overly simplify it. Because I don't think we're going to have those issues of like popping things in and out because we're flying so high and we can see so much. These things are slower in comparison, and they stick to the roads for the most part. I mean, yes, you can create some giant Evel Knievel ramps and stuff. I'm sure people will do that on their own custom servers. I know we will. But yeah, I think these are a lot more accessible as far as performance for all platforms. So I'm very excited to see where this is going to go. And I do think this is going to be sometime next year. I really do. So I hope you guys are excited about this. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Like, what are you more excited about? You know, minis, modulars, you know, mill tunnels, or like community servers. Obviously, everybody wants community servers, obviously. But I know I'm interested to see what you guys are interested in. And, you know, maybe what you guys voted for on the survey would be nice to know down in the comments below. So, hey, if you want to know about those minis again, we'll go ahead and throw them up on the end screen. Hopefully, if you see the little live symbol next to the tag there next to the channel. What is that? The avatar? Swing by and say hi and say what's up. And hopefully we'll see you guys in the next video / live stream. Love you. Bye.